Street Talking Other Stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti on this beautiful morning in March. Isn't it wonderful? Would somebody please advise Winter that, okay, snowpack is good, everything else is good, you've done your job, you can go home now, okay? We're done. Great. But hey, nice to have you here. Good to be here. I got a really good show for you today. I got a great guest, young woman who I'm very proud to have here today. But just a couple of things. Been thinking a lot about, I'm getting older and need to make some plans for, the afterlife, so to speak. And I decided on my bucket list, item number one is to find a cemetery that has Wi-Fi. And I wasn't a very good student, and that's just to put it lightly. I was a real troublemaker in school. And one day I just pushed a teacher. I was in junior high. I just pushed the teacher just a little bit too far, and I got suspended. Now, the reason I got suspended wasn't because of what I did, but what happened when the teacher pointed a ruler at me and said, "This ruler's pointing at an idiot." And I said to him, "Yeah, which end?" All right, and okay, let's say, again, end of life kind of stuff. What's really important, what you need to do. Let's say you need a heart transplant. The doctor comes up to you and says, okay, hey, look, you're lucky. We got 3 possible matches for you. The first is from a 22-year-old kid who was a soccer player and an athlete. The other is from a guy who was in his early 30s, never smoked or drank, was in good shape. And the last one is from an attorney who practiced law for 40 years. Which one would you pick? Well, I'd say I'd take the lawyers. And if the doctor said why, I'd say, well, the lawyer's heart has never been used. Okay, Street Talking Other Stuff, Mike Maddog Magnotti. Thanks for being here. You stick around. I've got a great guest. We'll be right back.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life Channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, 2 Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Dr. Ron Singleton. See how Ideal Protein can help you.
I started Ideal Protein about 10 months ago. I'm down 123 pounds and a little over 50 inches.
Using Ideal Protein, I've lost 37 pounds in just 10 weeks.
I lost over 52 pounds in 4.5 months on Ideal Protein.
This has been a wonderful journey. The food is great, and it's a very easy program to follow.
This medically designed program has repeatable, safe, and effective results. Call us today to schedule your weight loss consultation.
Wahoo, Wenatchee Valley, sale, sale, sale. Collins Super Sale has begun. All red tag sale items are 40 to 50% off with a great selection of jackets, vests, jeans, tees, tunics, dresses, leggings, boots, select Brighton jewelry and handbags. All scarves and gloves are 50% off. Too many items to mention. New spring fashions arriving daily. Time to start your preparing for spring trips at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
That's pretty much it. It's a great house, great neighborhood. It's great.
Sam's still getting used to the idea of moving.
Sam, you play basketball?
Yeah.
Let me show you something. Now I'm thinking, you put your hoop right here, and you even got enough room for a three-point line. One of the things I've noticed is that if you got a hoop in your driveway, you make friends real fast.
At Coldwell Banker Levine, our agents don't just understand real estate, they understand what home is all about.
Okay, Street Talking Other Stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti. We are back with my good friend, Ms. Lisa Bradshaw.
Nice to
This means shake
here.
hands.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were just like introducing me.
Yeah, well, I am, but I'm very glad you are here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good, my pleasure. And you've got you got a big project coming up. It's called the Don't Wait Project. I'm gonna have people learn about that from you, but first, just a little bit about yourself, because you're a very interesting person with a very interesting background, and she's also the host of her own show here on NCW Live called Life with Lisa. You probably caught it.
Hopefully you've got it.
Well, it's hard to say.
Right?
I mean, there's not as if there's that many people watching this show.
Well, there's that, I guess.
But yeah, well, a little bit about yourself now.
So you and I started in radio, right? That's how we met.
That's right,
and then we've been here a couple of years, and I've written a couple of books, and I
I read one of them,
yes,
actually. I did
yes,
indeed,
you did. And yeah, I've just kind of been navigating. I moved to Wenatchee in 2004 after I lost my husband, and our son was 5 at the time, and now he'll be 20 on Friday.
Right, college boy now,
Yeah,
right?
he's in college. I sent him off a year ago in the fall. That was pretty brutal. Very difficult time in my life.
I'm not laughing
It was
with you.
It was
I'm laughing
bad.
at you.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. But it's better now. But
Right.
so I just started thinking about what my next move would be, not having any children at home. I only have the one child, and
Right.
It's been pretty much he and I against the world for a long time. So, yeah, I've just been building a career around storytelling.
Right. Now, you have a particular reason for why you're doing this particular project. Isn't
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
I mean, a personal reason that
Yeah.
has motivated you. And don't worry, we're going to talk about the Don't Wait Project. We're going to get to that. But,
Yeah.
you know.
I survived cancer at 24. I was
Right.
newly married to my late husband, and we met as kids. And so that was kind of what I thought would be the worst thing that ever happened to us in our young
Sure.
marriage. We'd only
Yeah.
been married about 2 years. And then we had a healthy baby, our son, despite the risk of infertility. And then a couple of years after cancer, and then when our son was 4, Wesley was cleaning out, my late husband was cleaning out an old cabinet in our garage on an ordinary Saturday morning.
Sure.
We all have those spring cleaning days, and it made him very sick. It was had droppings and mold and
Yeah.
fertilizer, and that kind of sent us off in this year-long horrific experience of a lot of hospital stays, and he ended up having a double lung transplant a year later, actually, to the day of cleaning the garage, and didn't survive past 6 weeks. So I just really had to try to figure out what lesson I could learn from it, what gift I might be able to give to others from the lesson that without them having to actually go through it.
Yeah, well, you've had 2 distinct, specific incidences
Yeah.
where you faced up with your own mortality. And in all honesty, a lot of people don't do that ever.
Right, we
so-
got to the end of, the beginning and the end of our marriage pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
We lived a lot of years in that 10, almost 11 years we were married. And, it was a lot of trying to really build up my own confidence in my life and my health, because I had a young son and I was his only surviving parent, and I wanted to give him faith and hope in the world. And, and so when I was writing my second book, Big Shoes, it was largely based on our experiences when Wesley was sick, and then the 7 years after. And when I was writing the book, I was really thinking about the reader and what could I give to them with how they felt about what they read, and it was pretty intense stuff. And they devoted all this time and energy to our family and our story. So I was thinking about it about 5:30 in the morning. I woke up and I started thinking about trying to create an idea, at least to get people to think about. I call it the nouns in life, the people, places, things, and ideas that we give up on along the way sometimes.
Yeah, right.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Too tired, too broke, too sad, all these kinds of excuses we have. And so that's kind of evolved into this. I formed the nonprofit back then with the support of our community. Businesses donated to this dream of mine, which was pretty amazing, and it's evolved from there.
And the nonprofit is?
The Don't Wait Project.
Okay. So what is the Don't Wait Project?
It is a
Give us the
storytelling
core of that.
vehicle. It's the intention, part of our mission is that we believe that helping people make positive choices and building strength in communities helps along in that way. And it's just become this vehicle of storytelling. I mean, I thought maybe we would bring Don't Wait to fruition, like help someone attend college, or whatever we would do to try to fund these ideas, but it's turned into more about sharing those ideas and offering inspiration. We have an anti-bullying program we do in schools.
An anti-bullying program.
Yes, and students write, direct, produce their own PSA. They work with Mike Fierstein. He's our partner in that program out of New York, and we've done it in Wenatchee and Kashmir and Antioch schools for 7 years now. I do some exhibits at Pybus. They're pretty supportive of the work and storytelling I do there. And then these tours have come up in this will be my second one.
You've done one before.
Yeah, I did one last year. So I toured the country. I had this idea that when my son left, I would, pack up a camper and go find Don't Wait stories, people who are living Don't Wait lives, no matter the obstacles. And I went to Town Toyota, and they said yes. And I gave them a budget, and they said yes. And
cool.
so I filmed the whole thing myself, and traveled 7 states, and some of the stories were planned, and then some were just story like somebody camping next to me, or a woman saw my car wrapped on the street and stopped me. And that went really well, and pretty much from when I got back, Toyota said, okay, we'll do it again.
Oh, cool.
And this time, Toyota Nationals matched their budget. So we hired a director of photography to go with me this time.
Oh,
he gets his own car and camper. I get a bigger camper. This one has like a shower and everything. I'm super excited. And so he'll
She's
film.
going glamping.
Yeah. So it'll be more of a documentary type style, because I couldn't be on both sides of the camera before, and it was kind of more like, just not that behind the scenes as much as I would have wanted.
Okay, so the stories are people who've actually taken control of their life, made a decision, and moved forward on something, okay?
Right.
That type of thing?
Yes.
Now, you say some of the stories on the tour you picked up were planned, but others just happened.
Right.
How do you get these, these folks who have
the
these
news
stories?
or people who know people.
Yeah.
I researched GoFundMe projects, some really cool. I found 2 young girls who lost their home in a fire, and they came up with a fire journal idea, the fire journal project, and their mom helped bring that to fruition, and they started distributing these journals to kids all over in California who were losing their homes. So it helped them cope, and they drew pictures of their home and how they felt about that. That was one story. Met a man who lost his wife to cancer, and he traveled all over the world and took her ashes everywhere she loved, and ended up in Costa Rica, and now is importing teak wood and making furniture, and has a gallery in Park City, Utah, downtown.
We're actually doing that with a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
A friend of mine passed one of my Jersey buddies. There were 5 of us.
Oh, yeah.
We graduated high school together, and, Elon was funny, the healthiest of us. He was the one who died, prostate cancer, and we have a couple of his samples of his ashes in November. We took them down to Loretto and spread them in the Sea of Cortez, and we've still got 2 more bags.
You're like, what are we going to do with that?
So, Costa Rica is the next
you're going to go down
trip,
there.
So, yeah.
There's a story everywhere. I'm sure you and your group of friends have great stories that could have helped tell. But so it's not just health, it's career, it's family. I'm interviewing the very first story of this tour starts in Austin, a woman who was kidnapped as a child.
Oh, really?
And was away from her family for almost 2 years, and has since written a book on forgiveness.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, so just, I've never interviewed anyone who's been kidnapped before, and I think that there are probably people who could benefit from learning her story. That's the idea, is that hopefully there's a story in there for everyone.
Well, you mentioned forgiveness. That's one thing I tell my clients all the time. Forgiveness is a gift for us to set us free from holding resentment. It doesn't necessarily let somebody else off the hook or deny the aspect of justice.
We talked in her pre-story the other day on the phone and getting ready for the interview, and she was saying that, she learned she did a lot of research. She traveled the world, learning about forgiveness, and she said that was along the same lines, is that, it was a gift she had to give to herself.
Right, exactly. That's the story I'm going to want to hear about, but
hopefully there are others as well. But the idea is that there are just all different stories, and that hopefully it speaks to someone who needs to hear one of them.
Okay, so you were going to be leaving from Texas, I believe.
Yes.
That's where this particular tour is starting.
13 southern states, and Toyota and I agreed that I didn't want to drive 3,000 miles to start my 5,000-mile drive.
Okay.
So they shipped cars. The cars and campers are already out there.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to spend spring break in Texas with my son and my late husband's family. Yeah. And then I'll take off from there.
Okay, so how long will this tour last?
It's about 6 weeks by the time from start to come back, and then I'll fly back and send the cars back. And it's just about the right. I can tell you that last trip, I was about a weekend and thought, what the heck was I thinking? But as I got used to it, my other camper, it was fantastic that they provided it for us. It was a dealership out of Seattle. Yeah. But it was a teardrop, and it had a kitchen off the back, and then there was no standing room. It just was like a fancy bed with a flat screen TV I never watched, in a Bose system, So this one has everything inside, and I can stand up, and there's a table, and there's a bed, and So I feel like I'm kind of moving up. And I was also by myself, so kind of wanted to be hunkered in. I didn't want to be hanging around the campsite at 10 o'clock at night, you know, but once I was in. I couldn't stand up or do anything. So this is a step up, I think. And
cool.
Actually, the manufacturer of the camper that I took last time, New Camp RV, they are kicking in the 2 campers.
Oh, excellent.
So,
Good.
yeah, so
Good.
it's nice.
You did a nice organization job on this
yeah,
one. So
it's I think that it's something different, and yeah, they're trusting me as the storyteller, so I'm really grateful, really grateful.
Okay, so what town in Texas are you starting from?
Austin.
Austin, Texas. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I am talking with Lisa Bradshaw. She is the creator, she's the producer, she is the motivating factor behind the Don't Wait Project, which is a project to learn people's stories about people who didn't wait, who actually took the bull by the horns, took life by the horns, and moved ahead, making decisions to change their lives and others. Am I doing pretty well with that?
Really good.
So, okay, we're going to talk more about it, more about the specifics, and I'm going to want to hear some stories from her. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Maddog Magnotti, stick around. We'll be right back. So.
When you have to get there on time and looking good, call Fast, Friendly, Reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Available 24/7, AC Checker Taxi has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee for your pre-booked call. Some conditions apply. Call 663-8294. AC Checker, 663-TAXI. Schedule your ride ASAP or book up to a year in advance online at azchecker.com. American Classic Checker Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in North Central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
This is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to watch our new and improved 12th District 2.0 show. Now featuring more information on federal, state, and local issues in a leaner, faster format. Guest hosts John Wise and Shiloh Shower bring it all home with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Why do we call it 2.0? Because just like me, it's the stronger, faster, and lighter version of today's politics. Also available on demand at ncwlife.com.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Okay, we're back. We're talking with Lisa Bradshaw. What did you say?
I said you scared me. Just kidding.
What is she scared of? I'm the big puppy dog. We're back. Now we're talking with Lisa Bradshaw with the Don't Wait Project. Is that better? Okay.
I'll be ready next time.
There we go. The mission. What is the mission? Okay, let's start with that before we go into stories.
The mission is really about creating awareness in communities about how positive life choices can impact communities, the welfare of communities, and people and everyone in that community. And I don't mean just here where we live, but really across the country, throughout the world. And so that has enabled us to touch a broad group of people, right?
Yeah.
There's no story off limits. But here's the really cool thing about it is we can only share stories people are willing to tell. And I think that is why it works for me to be part of this project, because I've always been willing to lend my story if it helps someone else better tell their own. So I am willing, I was supposed to leave in the fall last year, and I didn't have a set date yet. We were still evolving. It takes all year to plan this.
Right, I would imagine.
And I was just so down low after my son left for college. I thought, I can't inspire anybody right now. I got to get this together. And so spring ended up being a better time anyway. The weather was getting better the whole way home as opposed to going into winter. So I think that my willingness to share the good and the bad of my life is, I think, helps people open up to share it with us as well.
Some of the stories that you've run into, what are the ones that, come up when you think about what positive choices people have made that have been, important for you or important for them or just worth retelling? So.
You mean through the tour or just in general that have come our way?
Well, just in being involved in this project, through the tour or in general, I mean.
You'd be surprised. Some of the emails I get most often are people who go to the doctor who wouldn't have.
Okay.
And that seems like an interesting thing. You don't feel good, you go to the doctor, but there have been 2 women who went and got a mole checked that they had been ignoring, and then the Don't Wait Project literally got them thinking about it, and they would not be here had they not done that.
Oh, okay, cool.
So things like that.
Yeah.
But then also things that are, I was in Boulder, Colorado for the tour. And I was getting my computer repaired because it died partway through the trip. And I was there for a bit, and then some parking opened up, so I pulled my car and camper up to in front of the establishment, and this woman was walking her dog, and she said, "What is this all about?" And we got to chatting, and her son had just, 2 months ago, survived a car accident that his 2 best friends died in.
Ooh, yeah.
And she said, we were just having this conversation yesterday about how we just can't wait. You have to live your life. You don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
And he has to move into that forgiveness place, right? Of being a driver who wasn't drinking or anything in the car.
Maybe forgiving himself and the survivor's guilt and all that kind of stuff.
And so, just someone who stopped me on the street. I say us, it's me.
Sure.
But,
the royal us.
I don't know who was in my pocket, but yeah. So, all kinds of, there was a woman who was, we've interviewed this really fun family that is basically the Chip and Joanna Gaines of Colorado.
Yeah.
And their little daughter took me on a tour of their 7,000 square foot house, and every little corner is perfectly decorated. But they had decided, he'd sold his dental practice. They had decided to sell their big house and get an RV and travel and put the kids in homeschool for a year and travel and help build Habitat for Humanity houses.
Oh, cool. Very
and they
cool.
ended up settling in Austin.
Yeah.
So I will pick up their story while I'm there.
Cool. All right.
And she was inspired by that because her brother was dying of cancer. And he was younger than her and couldn't do these things.
All right. And what other stories have you heard?
Oh my goodness, pressure, Mike, pressure.
Yeah, come on.
So, gosh, I think that even just the stories I get to tell sitting here, doing the show, I feel like, I interviewed a woman the other day, her name is Robin, and her son committed suicide in high school, and she's able to sit here with this open book life and willing to share her biggest hurts inside to help somebody else.
Yeah.
And she tells me, nothing's off limits. I trust you. I trust the show. And I have to believe that some of that comes, because of the credibility of the Don't Wait Project and our ability to tell a story.
Okay, so where are you going? What states? You say 13 southern states?
13 southern states.
Are there 13 southern states?
When you go along the bottom of the country and then you circle back over the top of those, so like Nashville and, all those. Yeah. So, yes, there are. So we're doing
Are y'all going to be eating grits? Y'all going to be having
I didn't eat grits when I did live in Texas.
Mush down there.
Maybe some biscuits and gravy. So I'll travel. I say we because there is a we now. I have the director of photography. His name's Caleb. He's going with me, and we'll go along those states and in Florida, come up and then circle back down.
Okay. Interesting that you're doing it this time of year, you lucky dog.
Well,
I know it's kind of cold down there, too.
It was 90 in Austin last week, but it could be. But that's the difference, is you have to. You don't know how the weather's going to be, so I have to pack for spring, summer, and a little bit of winter maybe. And I don't like to pack. I like a carry-on anywhere I go.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to have to pack a big suitcase this time.
So how many people do you have set up? I mean, how many?
We pretty much, my goal is always to have one in every state ahead of time. Okay. And then that allows for us to just pick up those stories we don't expect. Okay. And I have interviewed people at the gas station.
And how do you film them? You just come up and say, hey, are you willing to tell your story?
Well, we get to chatting about something, and that's what happened with the woman on the street, and she said, yeah, and I got out my camera. But see, that's the thing, is Caleb will have have his camera. And so there's this whole interaction that happens before, as opposed to, okay, can I turn on the camera now? And then then she's there and I'm behind the camera, and I have not control or I can't guide the interview at all, timing or anything. I had so much editing to do when I got back because, they talk and talk and talk. But if you're sitting with them, you can go, okay, we got, we're going to nail this down in 8 minutes or something.
Now, this project, though, has spawned some offshoots, some other projects that have come up, correct?
Right.
Tell us, we got a few more minutes. Tell us a little bit about those.
So, for example, at the 20-year My Survivorship of Cancer, I organized an exhibit here where I interviewed people throughout our community about their after-cancer life, the things they've learned. I asked them all the same questions, same 4 questions, and went to Pybus is great. They hosted the couple hours that I invited the community of cancer survivors to come down and created a video, but also everyone held their picture up of, their survivorship year and what they were diagnosed with. And I was searching for the longest living survivor in our community. And it ended up being one of my dearest friend's parents. Combined, they've survived 86 years of cancer.
Oh, wow.
Because he had cancer like the first year they were married in his 20s, and then he got it again in his 50s, and then she got it. So it added up to, between their 3 cancers, to 86 years.
Yeah, wow.
So, so got to tell their stories and honor their survivorship. I just don't think sometimes we take enough time to celebrate those things. And while we were doing the interviews at Pybus, this man was sitting over here having a glass of wine. He came up to me and says, I can't not come up here. I've survived a cancer. They told me I had 70 days to live, and it's 15 years. And I'm like, well, get yourself a pen and fill out your, cool. We want to hear from you.
Very
so
cool. Great.
That is one of so storytelling through those exhibits as well. That I had an exhibit at Pybus that had through last week that had all of highlights from the last tour, and then I'll do another one after this. I'm going to do one more tour after this one.
Okay.
I'm not going to do all 52 states, or I'm not going to. I did one in Hawaii. I'm not going to do. I have an idea about going to Alaska.
Never say never.
I know. I have an idea about going to Alaska, but I think I'll be ready to do something new after a 3rd tour. So
cool. All right, Street Talk and other stuff. We're going to talk with Lisa Bradshaw, the creator of the Don't Wait Project. She's about to start another tour through 13 southern states to learn people's stories that have made positive life choices that have not only affected themselves and their families, but their entire communities. So
if you follow the tour on Facebook and Instagram, it's Don't Wait Project, and then the website's don'twaitproject.org.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and say goodbye to Lisa, so stick around. We'll be right back. So.
Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house, fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Are you suffering with joint pain? Need orthopedic care sooner than later? For an orthopedic evaluation, there's no reason to wait weeks or months. You can get the help you need now from the experts at Lake Chelan Community Hospital, led by John Hopkins-trained Dr. Joshua Shohowski. Their orthopedic team specializes in sports medicine, knees, shoulders, and general orthopedics. When considering joint replacement, you should know all your options. Call or visit Lake Chelan Community Hospital today.
Okay, Lisa Bradshaw with the
Don't
Wait Project. When you were ready, how do people get more information?
Don'twaitproject.org.
Which is right under her name.
It is.
Caitlin brings that up.
Yes, and then
She'll get there sooner or later,
then you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm working really hard this time since I won't be editing the show and sending it back every week. I'm going to wait and do that until I get back.
Yeah.
On making sure I'm blogging, and we're creating a lot of fun highlight videos every week, and people said last time they felt like they wanted to know more about where I was when I was there.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a great idea.
There just wasn't time for it by myself the first time.
And then we can follow you on Facebook as well.
Yes, and it's Don't Wait Project also.
All right.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you very much.
Handshake.
God bless you.
Thanks for fitting me in, you busy guy.
Yeah, do a safe travel. Have a great time flying down to Texas, then driving around. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Maddog Magnotti, appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed today's show. How could you not? But hey, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.